Hey friend, welcome back to the Modern Hairstylist Podcast. So this past week, one of our students shared in our community forum that a new potential client had found her through ChatGPT. So on her digital first service consultation form, the client listed their referral source as, and I quote, ChatGPT for curly hair. So what I could assume is that this client probably went on ChatGPT and typed something like, help me find a curly hairstylist in my area. And lo and behold, my student showed up as a recommendation for a curly hair stylist. This was so validating for some of the theories that I've been sharing for a long time, but also a theory that I just recently shared in recent interviews. So my very first theory that this validated was that first service consultation forms are an absolute must. Having a first service consultation form is still a non-negotiable. I don't give a shit if you think it's annoying for a client to fill out a form. I have hundreds of students to prove that it works. Data that says 95% of clients are willing to fill out a first service consultation form before booking an appointment. And as we can see from this circumstance, it makes you aware of very important and interesting data that you would otherwise have no way of collecting and tracking in this specific format. So let me be clear with y'all, all right? These forms set the tone, they make clients feel seen and heard, and ensure clarity for both you and the client, and they have way more pros than they do have cons. So first service consultation forms are an absolute must for you as a business owner right now. And my second theory, how AI will affect new client search and acquisition. So like I said, in recent interviews, I've had some people ask me how I think AI will change our industry. And part of my answer to that has been AI will make it easier for clients to find hairstylists who truly fit their needs. Now, my second theory that was validated with this circumstance was how AI will affect new client search and acquisition. So in recent interviews, I've literally just like this past week, I've had people ask me how I think AI will change our industry overall. And part of my answer to that has been AI will make it easier for clients to find hairstylists who truly fit their needs specifically, because it allows for a more personalized and targeted search focusing on different details and specifics like specialty, pricing, availability, etc., etc. And now we are seeing that in real time. AI like ChatGPT is becoming a preferred way for people to find service providers and shop for different products. It cuts through the noise of paid ads and endless searching in and out of different websites. Search engines such as Google are even integrating AI summaries at the top of Google searches, which you may have already seen if you've been on Google recently. And even in my own life and business, I'm finding myself going straight to AI in a lot of circumstances when I'm shopping for products and services, because it saves me a lot of time and I can be more specific with what exactly I'm trying to find. Now, the question becomes, what does this mean for hairstylists? So for the hairstylists out there who are more business oriented and have already done the thorough foundational marketing work, this is actually good news for you, because it'll be a lot easier for you to get clients into your chair who you really love and are more likely to be retained. I don't think it's so great news for the stylists who haven't focused on having a strong foundation when it comes to marketing and messaging, including using real data and research to drive those efforts, or the stylist who does not have a strong online presence right now. So let me break down to you why I believe this is the T, and it's some things to consider. So number one, I believe that with this circumstance, specializing is becoming way more important, even more than it already was. So if you're not specialized, now is the time to narrow your focus for a billion different reasons, this being the cherry on top. AI is now enabling clients to search with pinpoint accuracy. They're looking for stylists who meet specific criteria for exactly their needs. And with these advancements in technology, the lack of trust from the consumer in our industry right now, and people wanting more personalized solutions, if you're too much of a generalist, you very may well not stand out from the crowd. And even if you already are specialized, your messaging needs to be on point. So think about this, right? Like, clients are literally sharing their pain points and desires with AI tools like ChatGPT, and the AI is matching them with stylists who align with that language that the client is speaking. So if your website or marketing in general doesn't speak direct directly to those concerns using the same words and descriptions that your client is using, you run the risk of not showing up in that search, even if maybe you are the perfect match for that client. So because clients will have an easier time finding somebody who specializes in exactly what they want, they're going to be much more likely to take that route and work with stylists that come up in those searches over generalists overall. Now, number 2 is that your website needs to work for you. I mean, generally, if you don't have a website, now is the time to make it happen. It's becoming increasingly more important. And it's not just about having a website, it's about making it functional and optimized for today's needs. Your website should not just be an informational hub, it should feel like a conversation, it should be a strategic sales journey, speaking directly to your clients' concerns and desires using their language that they would use to describe their hair struggles or goals. Because when you make clients feel understood, they are more likely to trust you and therefore book with you. And to bring it back to the topic of this episode, like I shared in the last point, it'll make it so you are more likely to show up in search results. Not to mention, we need to avoid relying solely on Canva generated images or just any images in general for service menus or information, because images aren't going to be as easily readable by AI or search engines, which makes it so they won't help you rank in search results. So instead, we really need to be using your website builder's native tools to build out text-based things such as your service menu, any other sort of marketing or information. And then on top of that, we need to make sure that the copy on your website is matching the same messaging that your clients would be looking for when they would be describing their own pain points and desires. Number 3 is being transparent with pricing and services up front. Now that clients will be searching with their specific needs in mind, we could all assume that budget could very well be a part of that. Somebody could literally search, I'm looking for someone to cut my curly hair in my area for less than $50. And so if you don't have your prices clean and clear on your website or in a public format in one way or another, then ChatGPT isn't even going to consider you as an option because you're not giving it the information that it needs for you to be recommended to this person, because this person is specifically asking for certain parameters around the price. But y'all, a lot of the time, don't even have descriptions of what those different services actually mean and what they'll do for somebody. So when somebody is going to be using AI, searching for a hairstylist that's specifically for them, and they're going to be sharing what exactly they need, then you need to make sure that the descriptions and the titles of your types of services that you offer match up with those things and make sense to the general consumer even more so. So number 4 is going to be getting more public platform reviews. So AI is going to naturally want to give the user a reputable service provider, and public reviews are likely going to be a key part of that equation. So platforms like Google My Business become the go-to data sources for AI algorithms when making these types of recommendations. But I'd argue that it's not just about having a lot of good reviews, it's also about getting the right reviews, encouraging your clients to describe their experience using language that aligns with your specialty and what new clients might be searching for. So for example, if your ideal client is looking for a curly hair specialist who will maintain length, you want those keywords naturally embedded in your reviews. And there are strategic and proven ways to, yes, get a lot of reviews, but at the same time, make those reviews more likely to be tailored to make them more advantageous for you, which is something that I teach within my programs. Now, number 5. Unfortunately, having an online presence in general becomes increasingly more important. AI won't know you exist unless you have some sort of online presence, whether that be from you sharing yourself or others sharing you online. It won't know if Sally told Susie about you over coffee. So only relying on word of mouth becomes an even more uphill battle for you unless there is a digital aspect to your word of mouth strategy. So as you may have concluded from all the things that I shared with you today, a lot of the things that come with this advancement in AI are things that we should already be focusing on, things that I've been recommending and saying are happening for a fair bit now, but now they are just going to become increasingly more important. So I have a couple different resources for you because I dive deeper into each of these topics overall in other episodes. A lot of this comes down to making sure that you have great SEO, search engine optimization, right? I talked a lot about keywords and messaging and making sure that you show up in search results. This is just going to make it so your SEO needs to be that much better. So I do have an episode all about SEO. I'm going to leave that in the description of this podcast episode, wherever you're listening to this. In the last episode that I just released before this one, I just talked about a couple marketing mistakes that hairstylists make that reduce their efforts in getting new clients. So I'm going to also leave the link to that because I do cover some of these topics in there a little bit more aggressively. And most importantly, you are looking to make sure that your marketing foundations are set up using real data and analytics. Then those are all things that I cover within my program. So I'll leave the links below for those as well too. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, my friend. AI isn't the future. It is happening right now. Clients are already using tools like ChatGPT to find stylists who fit their needs. So this is your chance to take advantage of this because this could be a good thing for you if you ride the momentum of it. But if you don't take these things seriously, I hope that this was yet another reason for you to start. So I am here to support you through these transitions, through making sure that you are setting yourself up for the most success in the present and the future. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Modern Hairstylist Podcast. Peace out, Girl Scout. Bye-bye.